I'll get it going as soon as we get there. Hello and welcome, baby. Here we are, December 10th. One of my favorite shows, your favorite show, one of the highest shows of our whole existence right here. It's Big Amo for Fashalamadon Friday. How you doing, my friend?
Fashalamadon, I'm doing well, my friend. I'm excited about this weekend. We had a good game last night, and we had a bit of fun on the old in-play magic on Sunday as well. So plenty of excitement going on in the NFL world. How are you?
Yeah, we're gonna recap. Well, let's just talk about it real quick. Our live in bet. If you joined us last Sunday, and if you caught the show later, I think we won what 5 out of 8 bets, or I believe I can't remember the track right off the top of my head. We were above 55%, which I tell you guys all the time. That's what professional bettors hit at. So if you get anything over 55% on live betting day, we told you we're going to take advantage of watching these games. What's going to happen? And we did really well. Make sure you join us. We won't be able to do it this Sunday, but we're going to revamp it up for maybe the first week of the fantasy playoffs on Sunday. That'll be a great deal of fun, I think.
That'll be excellent.
Yeah, before we get to going too more, man, sad news, man. Really sad, actually. Demaryius Thomas, Bronco legend, man. That broke my heart last night. He just died at his house, man. It's sad that he died there alone and nobody there to be with him. And it's just it's the holidays, and just make sure you tell people you love them that you love them, because you never know, man. I mean, he was just sitting there at his house and died. And it's sad. That's sad, man. And he's a Broncos legend, and I'd like to just dedicate the show to him. But yeah, Big Amo, why don't you talk about the line yesterday, how we did last night, man?
It was a decent game. It went well over the expected points, that was for sure. I didn't watch much of the game because I was over in the UK. It was in the but it was a decent game. It was a game that the Vikings had to win. It was the game that the Steelers also had to win, but didn't. The Vikings D pulled them out in the end, I think, more than anything. But it was an entertaining game, that's for sure. And I'm glad that you hit your same game parlay, which is absolutely fantastic. I missed out on mine by a couple of points, but that doesn't matter. But the main one it came in was the fourth quarter. It was a nice little find that I found. Over fourth quarter was very profitable. Last night was just the 28 points in the fourth quarter last night, and we only needed 12, but just the 28. So, yeah, that's something we could possibly look at trends further down the line. These garbage time points, they seem to be.
You brought up the great point, man, and that's why I put it on my same game parlay, because you're like, look at the fourth quarter garbage time. And I just did a quick recap of about 6 games in my head over the past 2 weeks, and I was like, damn, Big Amo is spot on with this garbage time thing. And it would have happened either way. I just felt like, if they would have held on. I was watching that game live, and I was getting really bored, but the wife went to bed early, so it was just me and the daughter. She was raising Kane last night, and so I ended up watching a good game, man. I was like, God, this game's so boring. I was like 26-0. Are you freaking kidding me? Or 29-0. It's over. But I had Greg Joseph in one of my DFS as my captains. So I was like, yeah, let's just keep it going, baby. Just keep getting field goals down there in the red zone. And then lo and behold, the game came back. Big Ben turned it on. It's like the Steelers were kind of in a fuzz from that Ravens game until like the third quarter. Until that penalty. You didn't see it. There was a penalty where a guy did a taunting. It gave the Steelers a first down, and they just within the next real time, next 20 minutes, they scored 3 touchdowns. And I was like, my God, we got a game on our hand, and my bet might hit. I was like, I'm gonna look like an idiot telling everybody that Vikings are gonna come out with momentum, and then Pittsburgh's gonna come back and charge back. And it looked like your same game was gonna hit. I was like, man, Big Amos, I should have just followed his, because it was spot on all the way till that moment. And lo and behold, Big Ben caught fire. They started playing some good calls. Najee Harris. It looks like they kind of wore down that defense to some extent, because he started to get going, just like you talked about as well. And it ended up being a great game, man. I love any game that comes down to the last play. I mean, Big Ben got rocked on that last play. I don't know if you've seen the replay. I mean, if you watch it real time, he can tell, he does a quick eye look. He's like, I'm about to get hit. And he just throws a dart, I mean, right to Pat Freiermuth. It hit the rookie right in his hands. I mean, he hit it. He got it. He's going to tuck it away. Here comes all-pro Harrison Smith, what I try to tell people all the time about. One of the best, most underrated safeties of the past decade. Doesn't get any respect because he's in Minnesota. He comes in, does technique. I mean, he comes down like a hammer, baby. Boom! And knocks that ball out of a big 250-pound man's hands. I'm sure Pat Freiermuth's hands are about 2 inches longer than mine on every finger. And he came through and he still knocked that ball out. You can't ask for much more than that out of an IDP, I don't think. That's how I look at it. An IDP performance like that, he literally saved the game for them. And it's a great game. I mean, if you don't like that, if you don't like football coming down to the last play, I mean, I understand for a bet, but just from a pure fan point watching, they chose a great game. And it was crazy because when it was 29-0, Troy Aikman was like, usually Minnesota likes to be good football, good entertainment. They like to keep it on the last play. He's like, I don't know if we're going to get that today. Then lo and behold, it ended up going to the last play. So pretty cool, man.
I just want to say, I feel sorry for everyone who put in Mattison over Dalvin Cook last night, because Dalvin Cook might have had a bit of a game. 200 yards was it in the end? And
233 all-purpose yards. 233.
Which is, I mean, the man's a very good running back. He's one of the top ranked ones. He's fantastic. But I felt sorry for people because the news just didn't come out for Fantasy World last night. It was literally, do I have Mattison? Do I not have Mattison? In the end, I took out Cook out of one of my fantasy leagues because there was too much uncertainty. And there it is. He goes off and he completely blows everything apart. So it can't be helped.
We got injured against the Saints, right? It's crazy what duct tape does. That's what we were saying on the fantasy news show. We were going and it came live that he was about to be 100% go. We're like, Cook, because every question we got essentially was Cook or Madison. We didn't get any variant. I think we made it over under on before the show. I was like, I'm going 9.5. I think it was 9. So like 9 of the questions in the hour were all Cook and Madison. And hopefully you did that, man. I just let that be a lesson for you. Like, know your coach. If Zimmer's in there, he doesn't really do a running back by committee. He's going to pound the rock with who's ever healthy, and he's going to wear them out. And that's exactly what he did. His coaching career was on the line essentially, and he rode Cook into the ground. He did what he had to do. And Cook is the best running back. With Derrick Henry gone, I don't think it's a very close second. In all honesty, it's Jonathan Taylor, it's Dalvin Cook, but Dalvin Cook just put up his third 1,000 rushing season. That's hard to do, man. And he's been hurt. So let's give props to that. All right, man, let's go ahead and get going with some of the games today. I'm going to read it real quick. You know how we do it. It's going to be auction style right here. Let me wet my whistle, and I will run through these, and we've already talked about some of these games, so we'll get right to it. All right, starting off with a banger. Dallas Cowboys at Washington football team. Got a 4.5-point spread for Dallas. 47.5 points on the over. That has gone up since 3 days ago. Negative 200 for the Cowboys, plus 170 for the Washington football team. Jags at Tennessee. We got an 8-point spread for Tennessee. 43.5 points on the over. Negative 425 on the money line, plus 320 for the Jags. Seahawks at Houston. We got 8.5-point spread. I think that's gone down actually. 41 points on the over. Under 8.5-point spread. 41 points on the total. That's crazy. Negative 425 on the money line, plus 320 for the Texans. Raiders at Chiefs, another great division rivalry. What? Guess what the spread is? 9.5 points for the Chiefs, though. 48 points on the over-under. Negative 435, plus 330 for the Raiders. Saints at Jets, 5.5 points on the spread. Big Amo, just like we talked about. Don't overthink it. 42.5 points on the over-under. Negative 225 on the money line, plus 185 for the Jets. Falcons at Carolina, big divisional game. The person that wins this game is likely in the 7th seed of the NFC playoffs. It's huge implications, man. 2.5-point spread for the Carolina Panthers. 41.5 points on the over-under. Negative 140, plus 120 for the Falcons. You can tell we're getting into December. These over-unders are dropping. Ravens at Cleveland, a game we're going to talk about. 3 points on the spread for Cleveland. 42.5 points on the over-under. Negative 145 on the money line for Cleveland. Plus 125 for the Ravens. Excuse me. Giants at Chargers, we got a 9.5-point spread. 43 points on the over-under. My God. Negative 435 on the money line. And we also have plus 320 on the money line for the Giants. I don't think there's any way in heck they're going to win that game. Detroit Lions at Denver. 10-point spread for Denver. I think it's their highest spread of the year. 10-point spread, only 42.5 points. Negative 475, plus 350 for the Lions. 49ers at Bengals, moving into the afternoon games. Oh, that was the afternoon games. There's quite a few afternoon games, actually. 49ers at the Cincinnati Bengals. The line has moved. It was 0.5 all week. It's negative 2 for the 49ers right now. 49 points on the over-under. Plus 105 for the Bengals. Negative 125 for the 49ers. That's the tightest line we got all week, baby. Buffalo at the Buccaneers down in Tampa Bay. We got a 3.5-point spread for the Bucs. Big Amo said he found it at 3. This one's at 3.5, but it's at plus 100. We got a 54 point on the over-under, the highest line of the week. negative 165 for the Buccaneers, plus 145 for the Bills. Bears at Packers, the oldest rivalry of football. The line has moved up from 10 to 12 and a half already. 43 points on the over-under, negative 575 for the Packers, plus 410 for the Bears. And then wrapping it up on Monday night, Rams at the Cardinals. What a game, man. Divisional game.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's a great divisional games. I love them, man. I love them. 2.5 points on the spread at the moment for the Cardinals. 51 points on the over-under. Negative 135 for the Cardinals over here, Big Amo. And plus 115 on the Rams. The floor is yours, sir. Please talk what you would like to talk about, my friend.
Well, there's a couple of games that I really like. There's a couple of games that have a bit weird and a bit changed. The lines changed. I mean, the Lions, the Broncos has dramatically increased because of, they're calling it the flu, aren't they, that's going round the Lions. There's a lot of people are ill. It's not COVID, it's flu, which has affected, apparently even Goff's going to be out with his small hands. So there's... I think unfortunately that's one that we could have bet on, which I would have liked to have teased, because the Lions are not doing very well. But at the moment, it's just we can't touch that, unfortunately. I think a similar one, even though I was very excited about this, is the 49ers versus the Bengals this weekend. I will be betting this in play. I will be betting this because this is 100% is all down to Burrow. If Burrow, as he has dislocated his little finger and he had a problem with his other finger as well, if he can't throw the ball, the 49ers will absolutely destroy them. A lot of people are saying they're going to destroy him anyway because of their run game and the way they're playing. The EPA's mafia is going mad that they're one of the best ones to get points against their schedule and whatever it may be. Blah, 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 blah. I agree with that, but I think they could get some... They could get some. The Bengals could get some use on the ground as well. But if Burrow's out and he can't throw it, it's almost like a void game. So if you really want to do the ultimate dirty, that would be to tease the. To tease the Broncos and to tease the 49ers, and just on the case that it might be a complete mishap and everything could just go wrong. But that's something that doesn't sit well with me that well. I think I'll stick with it. There's lots of games. I'll start with the Baltimore and the Cleveland Browns.
Also, real quick, I don't think Mixon is practiced this week. I'm not sure if that's a veteran rest.
Is he not?
Watch that as well. They're talking about firing up Samaje Perine, but you know how the hype gets on the week of the playoffs. You know what I'm saying?
He did okay last week. He did okay last week, Perine, sorry. I wouldn't have him as a leading back, though. He's more of a catchback. But yeah. Well, in that case, the 49ers should destroy them effectively. One of my angles I like this week is the crazy fixture mess up. I don't know. I'm not surprised no one has. We've picked this up before. So the Browns played the Ravens 2 weeks ago. Then they go on a bye, and then they play the Ravens again. So they've had 3 weeks technically to play 2 games to get as much prep as they possibly can for the Ravens. The Ravens last week had a very, very close divisional game against the Steelers. Now there's a crazy stat about people that people's results after they've played Pittsburgh. I don't know if you're familiar with this, but because Pittsburgh play everyone so hard, there's generally a little bit of a slump, and there's a fatigue factor. Now the Ravens are on a short week this week as well, and they've got Lamar, who's not particularly playing too well. So there's lots of implications that there's a possibility that the Browns is the obvious choice to take here. They've got Bateman, who's not being used. Hollywood Brown, Andrews has been quite good. Lamar's been okay. They've got no running game. I think the Browns, the Browns should get at them with Garrett. It could be Garrett's big day because last week Lamar got sacked 7 times last week. 7 times, and this yeah, no, but the Ravens are going to bring the same intensity. They got the Browns are going to bring the same intensity. Myles Garrett is behind in the sacks thing now, so I'm sure he'll want to get Lamar on a couple of times. So in the trenches, the Browns win it. They've got a quarterback who can't throw it, but they've got a scheme that they might be able to get something from it. I think the Ravens are looking tired. It's going to be their 3rd consecutive a divisional game at their away at the Browns on a short week, I just think it's a no-brainer. Take the Browns at -2.5, -3. It could be a low-scoring game, but there's also potential wind there as well. And if you're at any sort of wind in sort of the Browns area, it's a good shout for going under. But I don't think the Ravens currently at the moment, with all Lamar's struggles, because he seems to be doing everything for them at the moment, I think the Browns is the most logical way to go.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking also that, the Ravens don't have one member of their starting secondary for the rest of the season, I believe. They're on running backs that nobody even wanted to begin the year. It's a miracle that they've been able to get this far, in all honesty. And I think I think the wheels are starting to get real wobbly on this one, and it's probably about to crash, in my opinion. And I just was sitting here thinking while you were talking, it might be a good same game parlay to take Cleveland, tease up the line by a 6 if you feel comfortable, cover yourself a touchdown. That might be a really good positive odd same game parlay, and you're just asking essentially Cleveland to win. But yeah, I'm right there with you on that game.
Well, there was also the huge problem with the Ravens last week was the reason why they didn't go for it at the very end is because none of the cornerbacks were fit. So he's come out and said that. So they had to take the 2 points to win it because he didn't want to send any of his cornerbacks out because he would get destroyed. So we don't even know what sort of fitness levels the cornerbacks are going to be. I'm not saying that the Browns are all conquering offense at the moment, especially with Baker not able to throw it. But if you put in B team cornerbacks out there, they're not going to be as good as possibly they would be in a big divisional game in which I'm sure the Browns and the Bengals, Browns and the Ravens both need to win.
Yeah, and somebody asked me, they said, "What about People Jones?" I said, starting this week. I mean, even if he gets 5 catches, he's going to get separation. He's going to get open. And they're going to take it. I mean, they're going to try to control the game with Hunt and Chubb. Don't get it twisted. But Baker's going to have to throw occasionally, and they will. All right, man. I want to talk about. I made a journey. Usually, Big Amo does. I just went and looked at an 11 o'clock game time slot where I felt like if you were paying attention when I was reading a lot of those lines, it's a lot of 400s to plus 300s, -400, -375, -450. So I went and took 3 of those -400s, and it's Tennessee, Kansas City, Seattle. Tennessee against Jacksonville, that should be a win. Seattle against Houston, that should be a win. And Kansas City against the Raiders, it's kind of iffy, but the truth is it's not Mahomes, it's the defense for Kansas City is playing really well. Mahomes isn't making turnovers, and they're able to win. And they just do well against the AFC West. That's just how I look at it. The Raiders always play them tough. The Raiders beat them last year, but I think it's good. It's coming in at -111. I believe that would be 9-10. 9-10. So not bad odds. And then what I like about it, it's our journey. So if that hits, then we can turn around and put it in a live play for some of these Sunday afternoon games, right? That's how we're trying to do it. I feel good about this. Okay, this build up my bankroll. If this hits, now I got this money at least to put something on a live bet and watch the eye test. For a same game parlay, also it's a Sunday night game, but it just happened when I was thinking with the Cleveland too. Green Bay versus Chicago. I teased down Green Bay because that's a really high line. I teased it down to 6.5. It was at 10 when I did it, so it gave me a little better odds. Might be a little worse now. And then Green Bay typically likes to get up early. If they can get up early, they're going to wear you down by running the ball the second half. So I got them over 13.5 in the first half. That's not even teased. That's just a straight bet. So 6.5 teased on the win, and then over 13.5 in the first half. It comes down at plus 107. So, plus odds for a Sunday night game, something to cheer on for the first half, something to cheer on for the second half. Do you have anything else you want to talk about? I know you wanted to talk about Arizona and Tampa Bay.
That's on the Monday, so I could send some word across to you. I think Arizona will win. I think they've got the better team. They've got the better both sides. They're playing really well at the moment. We don't know how Stafford is going to be affected. I think Henderson will also have a good game. I can see his going over his prop because the only sort of weakness that Arizona has is defending the run. They're still competent with it, but that's possibly the only way the Rams might be able to get through if Stafford is still struggling. I would probably. Beginning of the week, when you look at the results that the Rams have had in Arizona for the last 5 years, they've blown them out every time. So I don't think the Arizona has beaten them under McVay. So it feels a bit strange to me, sort of saying, yeah, definitely take the Arizona at -3.5 when for the last 5 years they've not shown it. But this is a different season, and it could be a different team. But I definitely liked the Arizona, and I was going to take it on the money line at 1.75, which is -133. I think that was going to be my other sort of single of the day, because I do trust them to win, but I just want to take the safer option, and it's a decent price at -133, so it's not too bad. What's your thoughts on the Washington versus Dallas this weekend?
Well, Mike McCarthy just came out and said he feels confident they're going to win. Washington's been on a 4-game win streak. Like I said, when I watched the film, what they're doing is they're controlling the line of scrimmage. They're controlling the clock. They're making sure they're on offense. And I think that formula will work against Dallas. Now, the question is, will they be able to stop Dallas? And I don't think they're going to be able to. I think it's still going to be the Dak attack. Supposedly, Pollard has a toe. Tony Pollard has a toe problem. And then Ezekiel Elliott, he's still banged up too. But they're both, they're supposed to, they both have come off the record saying, "Oh yeah, I'm going to play." Which that's what players are supposed to say. But having said that, I don't know how it's going to happen, to be honest with you. It's a difficult game for me to read. I do think the Cowboys will put up points. I think Washington will try to control the clock. So I don't know if that means more defensive time for Dallas, essentially. But I'm kind of staying away from who's going to win this game. What about you?
Originally, I like the way that Washington are playing. I like the way what they're doing. I think they're playing very, very well. But when I dig into it a little bit more, there's a couple of things that scare me a little bit. I possibly think that Dallas might actually blow Washington completely out of the water this weekend. It's Washington's third game in 9 days, fella. Third game in 9 days, and they've got to go away to Dallas. That is a lot of traveling they've done within this time period, especially for a team to turn around against a divisional rival and someone who with probably one of the better offenses in the whole league. One of the problems with Washington had, as I spoke last week about the Raiders, is that they give up too many explosive plays. And that's Dallas all over the place. So even if they haven't got the running back, Dallas might not be able to run that much on the Washington front seven as it is. They have apparently brought in Ito Benjamin. I think it's Ito Benjamin, because Pollard and Dak are possibly out. So I've got a funny feeling they're just going to air it out constantly. I really like, as one of my props this week, is CD Lamb. CD Lamb, as soon as Cooper came back, Lamb went straight back into the slot, and no one's been able to handle him this at all. And Dak will probably target him as much as possibly can. Don't think there's anyone really in. It's supposed to be Fuller. It's supposed to be no, it's not Fuller because he used to be there. There isn't really anyone in Washington to cover the slot for him, and I think CeeDee Lamb will cruise over his line completely. I think they'll utilise him as much as possible. They'll air it out as much as possible. But you are quite right. Washington really are slowing the games down. They did another long drive last week, in which another sort of 10-minute drive. So that's 2 in 2 weeks. So they're trying their best to sort of restrict the opposition, and I can see them doing that as well. But I just see that Dallas are just too powerful as a team. Even though the Washington defense is getting better, I think they'll be able to do it. And then you've got the Micah Parsons, who's just playing phenomenal at the moment. He's bringing a lot of pressure, and Dallas have also got a couple of other players, like Lawrence is back as well. So it just seems Gregory's back as well. The third game in 9 days is tougher as it is. Going away to Dallas against one of they might just get run around. So it could be. Oh, is it in Washington? It could be a sneaky under. Could be a sneaky under.
And when we were reading those lines, look, the lines have dropped. When we were earlier in the year, the games were at 50, 49, 52. They've all dropped down, man. Injuries, outside weather, all these things take a part in your over-under. And I agree with Amo. A lot of these games, I feel really good about the under, because that's what people are doing now. You got 13 games on tape. People know who you are. You got 12 games on tape. People know who you are. They know what you like to do. They know your tendencies. Defenses get better in the second half of the year, man. Let's move it on to some of our props, because we got about looks like about maybe 10 minutes at the most where we got to go. But I have some, and I'll just run through them, and then you can run through yours. We can kind of talk about them after that. I got rushing plus receiving. You guys know I love this prop. Gives me 2 chances to get one big play and let the rest fall into place. I tell you guys this all the time. Look, there's no Kenyon Drake. The Raiders are going to have to come from behind. So I think Jacobs could be a very good option at 89.5 yards for rushing plus receiving. Cordell Pimpin Patterson, man, we got 91.5 rushing plus receiving. We've already talked about it. If he gets out there against Carolina, maybe they motion him out of the backfield, get him in that slot matchup. Who is Carolina's slot corner? You don't even have to worry about it because Cordell Patterson's way better. All right. When we get to rushing attempts, rushing yards, Patrick Mahomes has taken off every week. I think Patrick Mahomes has covered his rushing prop every week but once. This week it's at 16.5 at negative 120. That's 5-4. Don't hesitate on it. And then a double up against the Jets, who got Kamara. His rushing line's at 69.5. He's been a full goal all week. And we got Taysom Hill at 54.5. The over is at negative 120. He got 100 something yards last week. He rushed it 11 times. I don't think he's going to be passing too much. I think it's going to be a wildcat formation with Taysom Hill running quite a bit, to be honest with you. Then for a passing touchdowns, I'd like 2 of these, can combine them for a parlay. Teddy Bridgewater, we just talked about the Lions. They're out. The Broncos have to win this game. They're 6-6. His over 1.5 is at negative 125. Ryan Tannehill against Tennessee. Who's going to run the ball in for them? McNichols, Foreman? I don't think so. Julio Jones is back. Look for him to start throwing him near the red zone. Negative 105 to go over 1.5. If you par them both together, you got plus 251 odds. I like it. Go ahead and talk about yours, sir. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I like CD Lamb, and his line is 69.5. I think he'll fly over that against Washington. Mine is all about slot corners. Slot wide receivers this week. I really like Cole Beasley. Tampa Bay are in all sorts of disarray with this secondary. There's talks of, I don't know who they're going to bring off the street to cover this. Everyone else is going to be concentrating on Diggs, and no one's going to notice the fact that Beasley's there. It's 41.5. That's literally 4 targets for him. He will cruise over that. I can see them the Bills utilizing it quite a lot. I also like Russell Gage as a sneaky over as well. Russell Gage has been quietly being targeted quite a lot by not Kirk. Who's the quarterback for the Falcons? Matt Ice Ryan. Yeah, so he's been targeted. Obviously, Cordell Patterson's getting all the praise, and so he should do. But Russell Gage is slowly but surely getting, I think it's 12, 9, and 7 targets over the last couple of weeks. So 53.5 seems pretty decent and quite generous against the Carolina Panthers that probably won't have a slot corner, as you said already. So he'll be going out there if Cordell Patterson isn't. Just backing up this the CD Lamb. This is who Washington have given up to in the slots recently. Cole Beasley 98, Keenan Allen 100, Tyreek 76, Hunter Renfrow. Should look at him really because he is the only Raiders target at the moment. 102, Sterling Shepard 94, and Chris Goodman 57. So Washington are giving up a lot of yards in the slot, and I think that helps everything else. I also like something I want to do. My other main bet this week is just betting the Bucks -3. I honestly think it should be a lot higher. The Bills were struggled on Monday. The problem with everyone saying that, you can run on the Bills' defense, and I've been saying it for nearly a year now. The Bills want you to run on them because they are so good in the secondary. They want you to run, so they encourage you to run. And unfortunately, when they come across a powerhouse of a running offense, you get murdered. But at the same time, they're still. I mean, they restricted. The young rookie for 3 throws. So Brady will have more time, more option. They will use as much as they possibly can on the running game. Play off Lenny, look for his overs, look for his anytime touchdown. I think that's going to be pretty profitable. But I really like the Bucks. At the same time, I think the Bills will score points. There's a reason why this total is over 50. I think I think there'll be points galore in this game, and I just think that as a whole unit and how everyone's playing at the moment, I trust Tom Brady to get it done rather than Josh Allen currently at the moment, because their lack of run game. Well, they won't need it against the Tampa Bay anyway because it's basically redundant. So you may as well just get on with it and throw it. So to see if they can two-man Diggs or not. So I really like the Bucks -3. It's a straight-up single, along with my straight-up single of Arizona. And my 3 props this week are CeeDee Lamb over 69.5, Cole Beasley over 41.5, and Russell Gage over 53.5. I might put some touchdown bets on as well, but I'm definitely going to be betting the overs betting the Bengals live, depending, of course, on how Burrow is.
No, yeah, I agree with all of that, dude. I'm going to place a CD bet as well. I'm right there with you. We had the same sentiments on the Tampa Bay game. I couldn't believe that the line was low. I think Buffalo's going to travel all the way down to Tampa Bay and get rocked. And can you imagine, as Bill fans, as the Bills Mafia, just had to deal with the Patriots, and now they're having to deal with Tom Brady. I mean, the schedule makers really gave it to them pretty good right there. I'm bringing up some PTSD for them. And I think Tom Brady's going to remind them why down there in the Bay. I like the Bucks 3, and because of everything you've said, I like Matt Milano's tackle props at 5.5. As tackles plus assist, everybody, they count as 1, and that's at -130. And I like Micah Hyde. His is at 4.5 at -135. I think Tampa Bay's going to control this game.
They're the areas they're going to go to.
Yeah. I mean, well, yeah, and then like you said, Micah Hyde probably is going to have to pick up whoever Cole Beasley just burned on the slot. He's going to have to be probably straight over there, because if he's in the slot, that means there's 2 receivers to that side at least. So Micah Hyde can be over there covering that as well. I'm just saying that I'm hitting the same sentiments as you guys. Well, we'll repost this. I don't have any touchdown props for you because last night when I looked, they didn't give me any. I'm sorry. We will update that. We will probably try to do some live betting also on Sunday, man. Big Amo, anything else you'd like to say before we close out the show, sir?
Just one little thing. There's been a huge move in the Chiefs game. So the total, it's dropped 7 points. It started off at 53.5. It's now 46, 47. So Chiefs games last have gone under 6 out of 7 games for the Chiefs. Look to that for being a potential under, but you could also look at it maybe on the in play as well. The Chiefs are playing well; they are putting up points, but at the moment, it's not something's not right there. So that's something that's definitely look to, definitely on the unders. I'd also probably just bet the Saints just for the fact that they will beat the Jets. Don't think about it; they will. Don't think about it. And the Texans are terrible. So if you can get them in a teaser with the Seahawks or something, that is something that they could really be done. I also really like the Panthers this week because they've just fired their offensive coordinator, and basically he's just come out and said they've got to run the ball more. Well, that's perfect for the Falcons can't defend the run whatsoever. So I can see a lot of Cam getting through, and Chuba Hubbard, he's going to be used as much as possible. So they're just going to run them to death. So I think they'll win. I don't know by how much, but I just think that they're in a better position there, especially because they'll be able to cover a couple of the likes of Pitts in their secondary.
Yeah, that's a divisional game. It's going to be interesting to watch. Carolina's had 2 weeks to prepare for it. Be interested to see how that goes. I'm right there with you. I think Cordell Patterson is going to break out. I don't think they'll be able to contain him just because nobody else has been able to do it. But yeah, that's our lines, man. Always bet responsibly, guys. Always remember that. Don't be betting your house. Don't be trying to make up for a bad season if you've lost a lot of units. Don't be doing something crazy like that, all right? Just save it. Just save it. We got the playoffs coming, all right? And that'll be fun. They'll be giving us a lot of bonuses and stuff. So just don't be betting your house, man. Thank you guys for tuning in. Once again, check out Iggy's Fantasy and Betting. You can listen to the podcast there. You can go sign up for Super Draft Pro. Me and my friends, man, we're doing really well in it, and not that many people. So it's a lot of fun. Go check that out as well. And then we'll be back as well to talk about it. Some more bets. Big Amo and I are always talking throughout the day about it. But I'm going to get out of here, man. It's a great show with you, Big Amo. I appreciate it as always, and I appreciate you guys listening. And, be safe out there. And make sure you tell somebody you love that you love them. You never know when they're
Bye, all.
All right. Peace.